Hey everyone, Little Mo Gaming here. Happy Friday. Happy 4th of July. It is the 4th of July. I am recording this around 9 o'clock in the morning today. We're off of work. I think most people are off of work today, except, of course, there's probably some businesses that stay open. Unfortunately, I think it'd be pretty cool if like every business closed down for the holidays. But then, of course, would society like still function? I don't know. That's a whole other topic. But anyways, yeah. So 3 day weekend. Very excited. Gonna get a lot of Death Stranding in. I had started playing the game last weekend and was having an absolute blast with it. Didn't really play much of it during the week. Instead, I focused more on Onimusha, which I'm almost near the end, and of course played a little more Mortal Kombat. But now that it's the weekend, I definitely want to jump back into Death Stranding and spend a little more time in it. I think it's just one of those games that you need to have like a good window of time to be able to really enjoy it. Which, that's just, there's some games like that, right? Like, I don't think I can pick up Death Stranding and play for 10 minutes and really get much out of it, Whereas if I boot up Onimusha, it's like a 5 hour game. So like 10 minutes is a pretty good amount of progress, that I can get. And it's not that it's all about progress, but there's a certain satisfaction to, playing the kind of game that you can get the most out of it in the short amount of time that you have. And then if you have a bigger window, then you can play something like Death Stranding, which is going to be my plan this weekend. So have you guys been playing Death Stranding? Let me know if you have. I know a couple of my friends who watch these videos have been playing it, and I've only heard good things about it from them. So, but the topic for today, I'm going to make this short and sweet, but I just wanted to give, my quick thoughts on the recent unfortunate news with the Xbox layoffs and cancellations and all that. Of course, this is stuff that's been happening for a while now, big games getting canceled and layoffs. But it's just kind of crazy that, it's gotten to a point where even something, like this, like I think they laid off over 9,000 employees, and really big name, games that were announced that people were looking forward to, like Perfect Dark, Everwild. I actually personally don't know much about Everwild, but I heard that it was like a big announcement and people were looking forward to it. But like Perfect Dark, I mean, they came out a couple years ago and showed some gameplay, supposedly gameplay. Now I'm hearing rumors that it might have been fake, but they showed off this like tech demo or something, and it looked great. Like the concept looked awesome. And, it's a classic game, and it would have been amazing for them to reboot it. But now it seems, that's all pretty much just gone out the window. And with that, of course, there's a lot of games that were canceled that we don't even know about from really reputable companies. I mean, companies like, I'm sure Bethesda or, ZeniMax, right? And it's just crazy, like Xbox went on this whole buying spree, buying all these crazy companies. It seemed like it was going to be great, great investments that were going to come out with great games that would either be exclusive to Xbox or, they would just be, published under Xbox, but even available on PlayStation. It would have been like some great stuff, and now a lot of it is just getting canceled, and it just seems like they made a lot of bad decisions. And it just makes me wonder, like, where has the focus gone? Like, when you look at the gaming industry, right, like from back in the day, how unique a lot of the games that were coming out were. I mean, back then we had like exclusive consoles, like for example, Sega, right? Sega had their own consoles and their own games coming out that were really, really big games, made a huge impact, and are classics forever. And then, of course, PlayStation, what they did, and Nintendo, and even original Xbox, right? Like the original Xbox had a fantastic library of games, a lot of unique stuff that you could only play there. Xbox 360, same thing. It was a great era for Xbox, and they had a lot of great games on there. I mean, the Halo series, Gears of War. I'm sure there's a lot more that I'm not mentioning, but I just don't understand like where the focus has gone. And what's crazy, right? And this isn't because I'm like, I mean, yeah, I have said before, like I'm a lot more attuned to the PlayStation ecosystem, but PlayStation, I mean, objectively speaking, is doing a lot better in that regard. They're releasing more exclusive games, and not even that the exclusivity is important. It's more so just the uniqueness, right? Like there's so many unique games coming out that you can play on PlayStation, and you can probably play them on Xbox too. But like they're announcing these games, they're following through, they're releasing it, and that's why the PS5 library just keeps growing and growing and getting better and better. Whereas Xbox is just kind of, I mean, yeah, they focused on Game Pass, which is a great thing, right? If you're into that, but you know, whatever happened to the focus on games, right? Like at the end of the day, releasing cool games and, you know, having a game that, I mean, it's the proof is in the pudding. I mean, you look at the games that come out on PlayStation, right? Death Stranding, for example. I don't know what the sales numbers are on it, but I'm sure it's sold really, really well. And people are buying it, playing it, and enjoying it, and it's being talked about. You know, where's Xbox's Death Stranding? Where's Xbox's like big name games like that? You know, Expedition 33 was announced during like an Xbox event, or not announced, but it was shown off during an Xbox event, and it sold really well. But I'm sure it's not the Xbox ecosystem that is like reaping the benefits of that, right? At the end of the day, probably most of the players are on PlayStation is my assumption. I don't know. I think most people are probably playing it on PlayStation. If you have an Xbox, you're probably playing it on Game Pass. So you're not even buying the game. And I don't know. I kind of lost where I'm going with this, but my point is like I just feel like there's been a lot, like a big loss in focus. A lot of, you know, these companies, like specifically Xbox, and even like I'm sure it's not the developers, right? Like the developers that they acquired, I'm sure they want to make great games and they're trying, but then like the corporate executives are making these decisions and causing cancellations and layoffs, which means that these games don't come out. These developers who spent years and years and years coming up with these cool concepts and ideas and putting work on it, it all just gets thrown away and they get canned for it, you know, unfortunately. And it's cool. I did see a post from CD Projekt Red saying, hey, we heard about these layoffs and we want to let y'all know we're hiring. So they're like kind of putting their hand out there for these developers, right? Telling them, hey, if they don't want you, come work for us. And I think that's pretty cool, you know, and we start seeing that a lot. Like a lot of developers that are getting laid off are like building their own studios and making unique games out of it. If I'm not mistaken, I think Expedition 33 was developed out of that kind of situation where you had developers who worked for another company that ended up coming together and making this game. And there's a lot of games that have that kind of like success story. So I mean, we'll see what happens from here, but yeah, it's just unfortunate, you know. It's pretty crazy, especially because, you know, I remember like back in the Xbox One era, it was happening back then. Early on during the PS4 Xbox One era, there was an announcement at E3. I remember Xbox showed off, I think the game was called Phantom Dust. It was like a fighting game of some sort. I knew nothing about it, but I remember seeing the trailer and thinking, oh, that's a cool, unique looking game that's going to be coming to Xbox. Later on down the line, I learned that it was a reboot of like an old franchise, like from the original Xbox. But, you know, to me, as somebody who was a little newer to the Xbox ecosystem at the time and learning about their older games, it was exciting for me, you know, that they were making this new game and it was going to come to Xbox One. It was going to be next gen. And then later on down the line, it got canceled. And it was like, that's one of the games I was looking forward to. I don't even know what it's about, but it was just the idea that it was announced. And I remember seeing like they showed like a tech demo for a studio called Black Tusk, which I think later on went on to become the Coalition, who made Gears of War 5 and I think they're currently working on Gears of War, and that's cool. They have their game that they're working on, but I remember seeing that tech demo and thinking like, oh wow, Xbox has a lot of stuff cooking. This company is going to make like some great looking games if this is what their tech demo looks like. And all we really got out of it was Gears of War, which, don't get me wrong, Gears of War is cool. I didn't play it, but it's like there really wasn't much, even during the Xbox One era, that like would speak for it. So I'm not an Xbox hater by any means. I don't own one. I would have loved to own an Xbox Series X and have like those exclusive Xbox games. I think that's something that would have been really cool. But it just seems like that's not where things went, and so like, I don't hate Xbox. I don't dislike Xbox. I had an Xbox 360 and I had a lot of games on there and I loved it. And I wish I could say that, there was a solid, reason to buy an Xbox Series X these days, but unfortunately there isn't. And this whole situation with the layoffs, I mean, it's just kind of, digging the hole deeper on like what's going on over there, right? And that's okay, I mean, hey, if PlayStation ends up being like the place to play, right? Unless you have a PC, then that's how it is. And I'm sure they're still gonna maybe make hardware at Xbox. I don't know where that's gonna go, but I just wanted to put my 2 cents in. I don't know if my thoughts on this have any value or anything. At the end of the day, I'm just a guy talking about video games and talking about some of the news that's going on, and I'm showing you some gameplay. I was putting some gameplay in here of Onimusha, Death Stranding, a little bit of Kingdom Come Deliverance, just footage that I've recorded over the past few weeks. Of course, Death Stranding is pretty recent. So I'm gonna go ahead and go play Death Stranding now. Hope you have a great weekend. If you're having a 3-day weekend, hope you enjoy it. This was a Little Mo Gaming at lunch or at breakfast, whatever time it is that you're watching this. And as always, take care.